2.5 years ago, I audibly heard God's voice, and it drastically changed my life. Let me explain. Now, a little bit of background. I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten through 8th grade, and then to public school from then on out. Now, I always tell people that at that time, I was a cultural Christian, meaning I would go to church, I would do all these things. I would even tell everyone, if they asked me, who's God? It's Jesus, of course. But that was more head knowledge than firm belief in my heart. And this was the truth pretty much my entire life up through college to 2020. Then in 2020, everything changed, as we know, and I got extremely skeptical of all large institutions. And I think that's justified given everything we know now. But as part of collateral in having this belief, the church that I was attending here in Minnesota, I also lumped in with those large institutions. Because let's be honest, there are some wolves in sheep's clothing, and there are some messed up churches led by messed up pastors who are nothing but greedy. For no particular reason, I lumped the church that I was going to in with that. And I really started to step away from Christianity as a whole and started to pursue spirituality in many different ways. These ways included psychedelics, cannabis, Eastern theologies, and looking inward to find God. And the scary part is looking back at that now is how real and how powerful that stuff is, but we're going to table that for now. So this was the path that I was on from about 2020 to 2023, was pursuing God in different avenues. And the result of that was massive depression and harmful thoughts. 2023 sucked for me in many, many ways, but I kept moving. I kept pushing forward because what can you do? So now back to the whole point of this video where I audibly heard God. In June of 2023, I went to a Milky Chance concert. Now, for the most part, I was vibing. I was having a great time at this concert. That was until in the middle of Milky Chance's set, I heard something. As clear as day. I legitimately thought it was coming out of the loudspeaker. That's how clear it was. I heard the words, "Do not obey." Do not obey. That's it. Now, I was thinking that's very bizarre to hear in the middle of a song. And also, what the heck? No one else looks to be like they heard that. So now I think I'm going crazy. And so whatever. I kind of brush it off as you're losing your mind, but keep enjoying the concert. That was until the next song started. The next song starts and immediately I can tell you the vibe changes. I feel deep in my gut just like a guttural bad feeling. The shift in energy in the air just felt kind of yucky and low vibe. And I was like, what is this? This is weird. And so the song's playing and the lead singer and all the musicians are getting super into it until about in the middle of the song, the lead singer like drops to his knees and starts like really, really getting into it. Very different than before. So now he's on the ground singing and he starts shouting into the microphone, "Get on your knees, get on your knees." And as he is doing this, all that I am replaying in my mind is "do not obey, do not obey." And I'm like, is this the thing? Is this the thing? And I'm like questioning, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this the thing I'm not supposed to obey? So I'm about like 60 feet from the stage and one by one, rows of people start like dropping. And it's like a wave of people dropping to their knees, to the ground, towards me. And so I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. I think this is the thing I'm not supposed to obey. And it felt like there was just a deep, deep pressure on my shoulders and like to push me down and to go drop to my knees. And so as this wave of people is dropping towards me, I'm kind of fighting. The people I'm there with are kind of like going down, but I'm like looking at them like, no, don't do that. And they're like, what's going on? And then what felt like eternity, the lead singer jumps to his feet, everybody jumps to their feet, and I felt a weight off my shoulders. And I remember people around me looking at me and being like, you okay? And I'm like, yep, I am 1000% losing my mind, but yes, I'm okay. And that was it. Until a few months later, I had some other crazy experiences. That was the first major domino that fell for me to find Christ. Because after that, I had some crazy radical experiences with Jesus a few months later that led me to reading the Bible, A few more encounters that led me to weeping on my floor, asking for forgiveness from God, and finding it, and finding Jesus. This video is getting long, so if you want to hear more about those stories, just let me know. But yeah, it's cool because then you read in scripture in Daniel about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and it's like very similar, although I was not at risk of being thrown into a furnace. You see very similar vibes in these stories, and it shows that God has not changed and never will change in his character. God's good, and he wants a relationship with you. And I would encourage you to seek him and ask those questions and find him. And since then, my life has been 1,000% better. So much more peace, so much more love. And it wouldn't have happened without those moments. So I highly encourage you to seek Jesus and comment if you want to hear more stories like this.